Going on, Falcon fans? It's your boy Rakundo coming back at you with another videos. So today, last week of camp. This is where the rubber meets the road for us, about 30 something players, give or take. So this is the competition, guys. This is where that for us most of some of the players, coaching staff pretty got a pretty good idea who they're going to decide to keep. But it is some guys, towards the end, a lot of still some position battles going on. We're going to talk about that today. But hey, also we got Debo returning back to practice. So guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys like hear what I talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. Like I said, guys, the last week of camp, competition is still high. We had joint practice again today with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Good competition. The guys had off yesterday. Come in, get some work against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And this last week of camp, we're going to see how this shakes out this on Saturday, who they decide to play. Do they get enough, what they like to see from some of their starters and they do practices for, or do they put them out on the field to see can they get a game plan laid out, get ready for the New Orleans Aints, who's actually trying to put some mud on us today, and they little practice with their little scoreboard. If you haven't heard about that, but whatever. So we don't care about that. Anyway, we did get some good news today. Deion Jones is back at practice, and I'm be honest with you, man. Just listen to him. I'm excited. I want to see the role that he's going to actually be able to play on this defense because of his skill set. And last year they put him out on the outside. He admitted he had to make it the adjustment to that instead of playing on the inside like he's been playing most of his career with the Falcons. He actually got put outside at that wheel last year, so it was a learning curve for him as well. But he said he's been locked in installs. Of course, Arthur Smith said that he's got to come back in. We know just because he's coming back, he's not just going to be penciled right back in up that depth chart. I have no worries about he's going to make his way up there because he still is a talented linebacker. It's interesting to see his role. I think he can actually, you can see him, with some more blitz and things like that. But we do have a deep linebacker room. I still think he's definitely going to make the roster. I don't see um, that many more linebackers better than the Deion Jones, right? And if you're going to pay him that money, like I said, he definitely can help this team. Arthur Smith mentioned Michael Walker and Rashawn Evans. He liked the way they've been playing. And they've been there all camp. They've been there all season. So he don't want to just say Deion Jones back. We're going to pencil him in as a starter or anything like that. Hey, if he earns it through competition, hey, let it happen. But at the same time, you love to see the way Arthur Smith is going about keeping this competition things going, and that's what we like about it. So we did see some highlights out there. Guys are still doing their thing. It was one period reported that Marcus Mariota went 8 for 9 on 77. Don't really mean anything, right? But this is like he's getting with the system. It's good. You're seeing a picture out there. I mean, video out there with Desmond Ritter hitting Demir Bird on the long corner route, and that wide receiver battle is still going on. It's gonna be interesting. Right now, like we said, we definitely don't know how many receivers they're going to keep. Last year they kept 6. Looking at the roster, I anticipate 5, but maybe 6 because they have some guys that really have shown up this off season, and we're just gonna have to see what happens with that competition. A lot of these guys, if you think about it, special teams is going to play a big role for some of these guys. Um, so a guy like Cardell Hodge, who's been on special teams a lot of his career, a guy like Frank Darby, who's been on special team a lot of his career, right? Those guys definitely have a chance to that could be how they decide to pick the roster in these positions. If you can do something on special teams, and you can do something at that certain position on the back end, right? that's how you might be able to make the squad. We know usually that's how it is for a lot of guys on the back end of the roster. Anyway, you got to be able to play special teams. Um, that's why you talk about a guy like Avery Williams, who actually played some cornerback today. Yes, he played cornerback. Guy who actually switched over during the offseason to running back, has not took any snaps at cornerback all season. But the day he was out there, Arthur Smith mentioned that's just a contingency plan. Like I said, again, when you're trying to roster build, guy that we know is probably going to be our returner on kickoff and punt return. What else can he do? Can he fill in at cornerback? Can he fill in at running back, right? A guy like that can play multiple positions and help you build your roster out towards the end. So that's why Avery Williams out there cornerback. We know he has experience playing cornerback, but if they could, let a cornerback go because they have another cornerback potentially to fill in on the back end of the roster that also do stuff on special teams, like Avery Williams, like I said, that's the back of the roster. So um, I thought it was interesting that he went back out there today, but at the same time, it's really nothing about the way Archer Smith and this regime really do think about a guy like Felipe Franks. Like I said, they're moving Avery Williams over to running back. They trying to find guys and put them in the best position to help this team, right? And like I said, it's all about the roster build towards the end. You can do multiple things. It's easier for you to make the roster. So I'm excited to see about what Avery Williams going to be able to do if he can keep that return position. Like I said, I think the running back competition is still heavy. I don't know how many running backs they're going to keep. A guy like Quadra Allison's been balling out all off season and in the preseason. Um, of course, we got our rookie Tyler Algier. Damon Williams, every time he touched the ball, he looked good. Cordell Patterson, we haven't seen him much, but I don't think there's any question that he's going to be on the team. So, like I said, that's a lot of running backs. These guys got to decide when you're doing to build a roster out. All right, you only keep 53, so and you can only dress 48 on game day. So that's to how they have to look at it. That 53 man roster, and then that 48 they're gonna dress on game day. Of course, you got to factor in the extra linemen that they're allowed to bring in on game day as well. So, like I said, when you think about this roster towards the end, those are things that they got to kind of factor in. All right. So, like I said, it's good to have that practice with the Jacksonville Jaguars towards the end of camp. We heard about those guys stout. Of course, they playing their style of defense. Guys got long arms, couple batted balls today, things like that. Good work for this offense. Good work for this defense. We're starting to get guys that they know going to make the roster start to sit out, like a AJ Terrell. Didn't practice much today because they want to look at some of these other guys, see what they're going to do. Like a Michael Ford that actually they moved him on the outside to play corner on the outside because a guy like D. Alford has started to spark and play that nickel position very well, and he actually got some run with the ones today, right? So you got to think about things like that. We got a guy like Jared Barnhart. He actually got the run with the ones today too. He earned that by just his play all season, then the practices and what he been doing in the preseason. So um, that's what you want to see. You want to see guys go out there, put it all out there, and then get that competition. Because one thing we do know about this team is that they're going to get opportunity to compete, and it's the big thing about Arthur Smith. You listen to his press conferences, and what he always talk about is he don't want anybody to feel entitled, right? So these guys got to get out there and earn it, and that's the last thing I want to talk about today. It's an article out there on the Athletic by Josh Kendall, talking about how this roster is constructed. And basically, it's all about the competition. It's a lot of guys on this team on 1 year deals, and um, what that creates. It's a culture they create, and of course, it has a lot to do with the salary cap. Don't want to take that away. Of course, we had the biggest salary cap hit, dead cap money hit in NFL history, $63 million. But at the same time, the way um, Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith is building this culture. It's building that competition because it's a lot of guys that they brought in that's on like 1 year deals, prove it deals, right? These guys got to come in. Um, they was drafted. Some guys drafted high, right? Like a guy like a Lorenzo Carter. He was only brought in on a 1 year deal. He got to prove it before he actually going to get that long term deal. It's actually a thing that Arthur Smith said. The worst thing he don't want to do is give a guy a long term contract that he's never really coached, right? You can look at a guy on film. You can expect to see, hey, this is what he did, right? But a lot of times when guys not hungry anymore, they don't got that payday. You don't know their, the makeup, how they're gonna be, and you don't want to pay them all that money because they get paid, then they stop, actually putting the work in. That's why they were so enthused about paying somebody like a Grady Jarrett, paying somebody like a Jake Matthews, because these guys go out and work harder than anybody. Like Grady Jarrett mentioned, even though he's the star on the defense, he's still going out there trying to earn his keep, right? And play and practice just as hard as anybody else. Those are the kind of players they want to keep on the team. That's the kind of culture they want to build. And then what happens is those guys on the 1 year deals that come in like what a Cordell Patterson did last year and show that he has what had the best season of his career. Right, he's going to his 10th year now, had his best season of his career, and after Arthur Smith coaching, hey, yeah, we want to bring him back, right? So you're going to prove that you want to be here, first of all. You're going to prove that you can fit in this culture and you don't mind competing against other guys that we're going to bring in your position because you're not entitled. You got to earn your keep every time you get on that practice field. That's the kind of culture they're building. You can see that every position. We just talked about Deion Jones, guy who's getting paid $20 million, and Arthur Smith first thing said that he gonna have to compete, right? He don't come in and he don't automatically get pushed up to back to the front. Even though we know Deion Jones can play, we know that he's gonna be able to push himself up there, but at the same time, you just don't want to give it to him, right? You got to go out and earn it. That's why when you look at the depth charts and you see these rookies like a Kyle Pitts last year on the depth chart, he wasn't number one. Like Drake London this year, drafted number 8 overall, still third on the depth chart. Things like that you want to see because Arthur Smith don't want think guys to come in and think, hey, my position already safe. I don't have to put in the work. No, everybody that's on this team got to compete down to the quarterback, all the way down to the fifth three man on the roster, right? And if that fifth three man on the roster outplays some of those guys that got the highest price tag, guess what? Eventually, those guys won't be with this team anymore because they don't want to put in their work because they think they don't have to earn it. They don't have to go work. That's the kind of culture you see that Arthur Smith trying to build. I love it. Um, it keeps the practice is high spirited. Everybody coming in, cause like I said, you don't know, this could be your last day. A guy like Cameron Batson, if you look at the article, he mentioned it is to prove it. Every day you going out, the guy out on the other side is trying to beat you because at the end of the day, everybody trying to make this team. It's only so many positions. Everybody understand that. That's the great thing about NFL because it's only a fifth three man roster. They breed 90 guys in the camp. A lot of those guys know that they might not make the team, but at the same time, they go out, they compete every day. Look at a guy like a D. Alford. Look at a guy like a Jared Barnhart. When we started, those guys was on the outside. Now, hey, they looking on the inside, right? Because of the work they put in, the competition they put in against all their peers since they've been there. So that's what we like to see. I'm excited about this last week. First joint practice down. We'll see if they get in packs again tomorrow. Um, and then they have that one probably a good walkthrough or something on Friday, and then Saturday the last game for a lot of these guys to actually show what they can do and what they're all about. So guys, that's the report today. Let me know what you think about Debo returning. How you see him fitting into this defense. Where can he help out? Can he help these young guys out like a Troy Anderson? Can he, you know, give some some tips to a guy like Michael Walker, who's pretty much don't took his job for right now, right? Um, Work out. He worked with the threes and fours today with Nick Kowalski and all those guys. So it's going to be interesting to see how much PT he get. He even said he don't mind playing special teams, right? You have to earn your keep with this new team. That's the way I like it. And then, like I said, in the day, when you getting paid the big bucks, right? You have to be able to set the example, like a guy like a Grady, like a Jake. Those guys out there putting in the work every day, taking no days off, and then once you earn it, that's when the dividends pay. Because like a Grady don't play in the second game preseason because he put in all the work during the practice, right? That's what you want to see. So guys, this is your boy Ricondo. Come back at you with another video. Peace.